Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control, and if you can take it.
Jesus, that made a mess.
Should have seen that coming. Mr. Shyway. It's been a long time coming. 5 months ago, you made a video about my favorite YouTuber, Favyn, saying something stupid like Halo 5 is good or something. I don't know, I didn't watch it. But I will not let you tarnish the good name of Favyn. So today, I'm gonna pummel you with facts and logic. And end your YouTube channel forever. And if you dare to ever speak the name Favyn again, I swear by Cortana, I'm gonna find you wherever you are. Halo 3, Halo 5, Truth, Heretic, The Pit, Plaza, Coliseum, Construct. And with the force of the entire Halo array, I'm gonna take my bio-augmented Spartan genitalia, and I'm gonna teabag you out of existence! And that's a promise, brother. Okay, so for anyone looking for context as to what's going on, a video was made by Aozolai back in January this year, from which Favyn made a response video, from which Sir Alexander the Shyway made a response video, in which I'm making a response video. That's right, what better way to make content than interjecting my opinion into something that did not concern me? Trying to use other people's success to catapult myself into YouTube relevance. I'm gonna link all 3 of these videos down in the description below, and I suggest watching them all. It's gonna take up about an hour and a half of your time. And while you're doing that, subscribe to all 3 of these creators. Being such a large and significant channel in the Halo community, I feel it is my duty to shout out the little guys. Now, on with the video. The Shyway goes very in-depth about the ins and outs of the Clamber mechanic, and how it affects the game and skill gap in multiple different ways. And I think this might be the best pitch for Clamber I've heard. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't necessarily disagree with the points that the Shyway is making. However, I think that the examples he gives affects Halo in a different way than is being portrayed in his video. The first example I'd like to go over is as follows. Shyway goes over all of the options Clamber gives you when combined with Halo 5's other mechanics to get onto top tower on the rig. Let's see what he has to say.
Consider this scenario. The objective is to get from here up to top tower. Now, there are a variety of ways to do this. If you're brand new to Halo 5, you might jump, clamber on the box, and then jump clamber up to top tower. If you played a little more Halo 5, you might recognize you can crouch jump up on this box. You don't need to clamber, so you crouch jump and then jump clamber up to top tower. If you played a little more Halo 5, you might recognize there's way more ways to get up to top tower due to the clamber mechanic, and this one's pretty cool. I call this the super jump, where you sprint, thrust, slide, stabilize, mash, crouch, and clamber up to top tower. You can do it again from the other side, where you sprint, thrust, slide, stabilize, mash crouch, clamber up to top tower once again. Why would you need 3 separate ways in this scenario to get up to top tower? It depends on the situation, and this is where decision making comes into play. Let's say that you know players are going to spawn bunker, and you know that because your team is blocking other spawns on the map, and you know that it's going to force the spawn on the bunker side of the map. Well, if that's the case, then you want to get yourself up into a power position where you can assault that spawn as fast as possible. What's the fastest way to get up to top tower? I just showed you. Sprint, thrust, slide, stabilize, mash crouch, and get up there with the clamber. And I know we talked about the fact that having clamber slows you down, but in certain circumstances, the clamber way is the fastest way. These ones are super crucial, and this is something that I could only imagine would ever be possible with a clamber. If you spring jump from the bottom of tower up to the top of tower, you get there instantly. Imagine if somebody is up on top tower and you know that they're there, you can get a sneak attack right behind them, and this happens all the time in the high level and competitive play. You can do that same spring jump from the front of the base as well for the same type of effect, depending on the scenario. Okay, so some of the jumps had clamber, some of them didn't, but you can't deny that having the clamber added so many more options and so many more access points to top tower, and your ability to take advantage of those options in the correct scenarios can dramatically affect your results.
Okay, so with all that said, I agree that being able to utilize clamber for all of these jumps are a huge part of Halo 5's skill gap. Being able to make all of these skill jumps in different situations adds to the depth in Halo 5's movement system and definitely separates the good players from the absolute best. But this is all a matter of perspective. My initial reaction when watching this wasn't that he was wrong and I'm right, but that this fundamentally changes Halo. For better or for worse is up to the individual to decide. I think we can all agree that controlling top tower would be a traditional power position as defined by competitive Halo players. A spot on the map where the player in control should be in an advantageous position and should be fairly difficult to kill without a coordinated push with your team. However, one opposing player has so many options in order to get up to top tower that it could be difficult for the player in control to maintain the power position. Granting someone who's in a bad position both ease of access and quicker access to top tower deteriorates the benefits of being in the power position. And I think this goes further than just clamber. It can be applied with all the abilities in Halo 5. Being a well-respected amateur in the Halo community, I obviously have elite knowledge of Halo meta. But I remember watching a Lethal stream back in 2016 when someone in the chat asked him why the ED roster with Roy, Lunchbox, and Snipedown struggled in Halo 5. I watched this live and I can't seem to find a clip of it, but Lethal basically said that they play Halo 5 like it's any other Halo title, and they can't seem to find success because Halo 5 needs to be played way differently. The classic Halo titles, being limited by slow movement, were sort of a chess match. Slowly and methodically making your way around the map, holding down power positions before moving in towards the objective or to catch players off spawn. And I would say teams played Halo 5 in this way in the beginning of the game's lifecycle, until Lethal left for CLG. That CLG Optic Tox roster was the first to figure out that utilizing movement mechanics to quickly suffocate teams was a way more efficient way to play the game. Much later on, when Splice formed, it was obvious that exploiting the movement mechanics and being the fastest players across the map was the most important aspect of Halo 5. They were so fast with using spring jumps alongside sprint, thrust slide, and clamber that they could just continuously fly at you until opposing teams were smothered inside their base with nowhere to go. At the end of the day, this isn't objectively better or worse than classic Halo. It's just different, and it's a matter of preference. The only other part of Shyway's video I wanted to comment on is the counter argument he makes to Favyn regarding missing jumps in classic Halo resulting in death. Let's see what he had to say.
Do you know what the skill gap is when Clamber isn't in the game?
It goes from, hey, you can't shoot for the next 0.8 seconds because you clambered, to you're dead, kiddo, because you didn't make the jump. And
this is such a popular argument on the classic side of things, this assumption that if you miss your jump, you're suddenly dead. But unless I'm misremembering things, competitive Halo 3 came back recently. I've been watching plenty of it. 90% of the time, if you miss your jump, you don't die, you just lose high ground. And yes, losing high ground is pretty crucial in Halo 3. High ground is very powerful. That could result in your death, but it's not like maps are just some massive sky jungle gyms where if you miss your step, like for 1 second, you just suddenly die. They aren't designed that way. Majority of the maps, you can't even jump off if you wanted to. You can't jump off the pit. You can't jump off Heretic. You can't jump off Onslaught. You can't jump off Amplified. You can jump off Narrows. You can jump off Construct. You can jump off Guardian. But Narrows and Construct, where are you realistically going to jump off those maps unless you're terrible? You're going to jump off the side of the bridge in Narrows. You're going to bump somebody on the man cannon in Narrows. You're just going to jump off the side of Construct. Like, Guardian is a little bit more difficult to traverse, but any mid to high level player knows how to navigate that basically with a blindfold on. Like, it's not too hard to point your left stick in the right direction, time your jump carefully, and hold the crouch button to make it over the gap. Like, only in specific scenarios where you're going for crucial, like, skill jumps would you ever risk death.
I understand where Shyway's coming from on this one. I think that saying missing a jump results in falling off the map is sort of just a blanket statement that doesn't really have specific examples where you can fall off the map from missing a jump, especially in Halo 3 competitive maps. However, I think the idea is more of having a safety net in case you do miss your jump. It's hard to make a one-to-one comparison on this, since Halo 5 specifically has ledges that you can't reach without Clamber. But the way I look at it, Clamber is always there in your back pocket, sort of as a safety net. At the highest level of play, you don't see pros missing jumps often, but it does still happen from time to time. I saw pros fall off Guardian last night in the Red Bull Rise Till Dawn 2v2. It's rare, but when the mistake of missing a jump happens, the player should be punished for it. But with Clamber, you can't really miss a jump as long as you're close enough. It doesn't always get punished by death in Halo 3, as explained by the Shyway. But missing a jump could result in that split-second delay that causes your team to miss out on a flag cap or return, or loss of a power position that results in a crucial turning point in the game. Again, it's hard to compare the two since map design in Halo 5 is based on Clamber, while Halo 3's map design is not. But I think more goes into it than Shyway mentions in his video. And that's all I really have for you guys today. As I said earlier, the change from classic Halo versus advanced movement Halo isn't a matter of what's better or worse, it's just a matter of preference. There are great arguments for both sides. There's also bad arguments for both sides. Don't come in here with bad arguments. At the end of the day, if you prefer classic Halo, you're going to gravitate towards the positives of classic movement. And if you prefer sprint Halo, you'll gravitate the other way. I personally prefer classic style Halo, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there's no skill in Halo 5's movement. It'd be stupid to do so. Each game is very hard to master in its own way, and I think the toxicity between classic Halo fans and sprint Halo fans is the biggest issue 343 is going to have to tackle with Halo Infinite. So good luck with that. I'd like to give another shout out to Shyway. If for some reason you found this video but don't know who he is, check out his channel. He posts incredible gameplay analysis of both Halo 5 and Halo 3. And let me know your thoughts on Clamber versus no Clamber in Halo. As always, this is everyone's favorite part of the video, where you get to tell me how dumb my opinion is. So let it rip down in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video. Later.